Welcome to Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. My name is Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul. Albert Einstein said, there are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. The other is as though everything is a miracle. Ooh, I love that. The older I grow, the more I refuse to be defensive about my tendency to adopt a Pollyanna attitude about almost anything. I love loving things, ideas, people, experiences, life. If I were to constantly look at everything that happens or is said with a critical lens, look at the joy I would be denying myself. Notice that I am talking in first person. This is me. What a hypocrite I would be if I denied you the privilege of choosing a different lens through which to look at your experiences, thoughts, and attitudes. So as you listen, please do not feel guilty if your tendency is to look at things from a different angle. My purpose in this podcast is to unpack some of the things we miss when we default to negative judgment or critiquing automatically instead of looking at the miracle or the awe or the possibility first. I've had the concept of judgment in my mind lately. When judging becomes a habit, I think we can easily limit ourselves from the pleasure of enjoying experiences, people, or ideas. Do we have to judge everything? I feel sometimes that people can hide behind judgment by calling it critical thinking. We often allow it to stifle our curiosity or our contentment. It can become a habit. Perhaps we have become habitually judgmental because the media is constantly infiltrating our attitudes with critical judgment of anyone or anything. What do we miss by feeling obliged to judge or critique everything or everyone? The other night, I came across a short British film called Toast. It depicts a young man who helps an old neighbor during the pandemic by bringing his weekly groceries to the door. The old man is definitely a grouch and shows no appreciation, but instead criticizes the young man for getting something, getting the wrong thing, or that kind of thing. One day, when the old man slams the door again after receiving the bags of groceries, the young man cocks his head, thinks a bit, and rings the doorbell again. When the old man, still angry, sees him standing there, the young man asks, what kind of music do you like to listen to? The old man finally grudgingly gives him a couple of groups from his day and then added, my wife liked to listen to the Crystals. The young man whispers, Crystals. He says goodbye and leaves. The next day, he rings the doorbell again. When the old man answers, the young man is sitting in the yard. Remember, it's COVID time, with two lawn chairs, a boom box, and a small table with several beers and potato chips. He invites the old man to join him, since the man can't get down to the local pub because of the lockdown. Conversation ensues, and a relationship is formed, and they are both changed. All this could have ended differently if judgment on the part of the young man would have been cynical and caustic. Instead, he assumed that there had to be a better person inside the old man. How often do we default to negative assessments of others, situations, or decisions instead of simply looking at the possibility of something good? My book club met the other night on Zoom. We each have the opportunity to assess our impressions of the month's book and share any thoughts. When it came to Tim, he rightly said about the book, I like everything. It didn't mean he could not add critique or insight throughout our discussion. But to me, it said, I make it a habit to look at the good that is there and try to get something out of it. Plato wisely stated, our reality is created in our mind. We can change our reality by changing our mind. Our society is spending more and more time scrolling on devices and less time reflecting on what we know, think, hear, or observe. We risk becoming shallow without giving a chance for experiences and ideas to germinate and grow into something good, fulfilling, inspiring, and meaningful. Abraham Maslow said, at any given moment, we have two options: to step forward into growth or to step back into safety. Growth must be chosen again and again. Fear must be overcome again and again. We fear losing our normal or being comfortable with our attitude, or we use judgment to keep us safe. But if we always try to go back, to stay with what we know, who do we become? Remember the old clock that doesn't work? It's right twice a day. This week on your bathroom mirror, write, before I judge and limit possibility, I'll look first for something good. Join me next Monday for Live, Life Inspired Views for Every Day. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'm a curious soul.